Okay, now for part two of the 6,000-year-old myth. Okay, so I already explained to you a little bit about precession, but let's continue on with that because there was more information. If you take back the Earth to the time of the pyramids, back to, or let's say the last age of Leo, okay, because it's exactly the same each time. Let's just go back to 10,500 BC. And not only pulling the stars back to that time where Orion sits on the lowest level of the horizon, but you also go back to, um, you know, uh, uh, back to where the Earth sits a little differently, and that's because the equator is not has not always been where it is now. Very interesting. A lot of people don't really understand that, or they don't take time to think about it. Okay, so most of the ancient sites around the Earth actually line up. It's very interesting. And if you tilt the Earth back, according to precession, the North Pole winds up being somewhere in Alaska, close to Anchorage, which I believe would be maybe magnetic north. The past few decades, we've noticed that the North Pole or magnetic north tends to migrate, and I believe this has to do with precession. And along with precession, the way it takes um, our our solar system 26,000 years to go around the black sun, and the time it takes for our galaxy to spin around, and for us to see all the signs of the zodiac change. The Earth also is being tugged on, and that's why there is a wobble. The Earth has a wobble to it. It sits on its axis and doesn't just go back and forth with the seasons. It actually goes in a like sways. It wobbles back and forth, goes in like a circle as well. And it's being held in place. It's a very slow process, and that's because the gravity from the black sun is actually holding the Earth in a particular position, and it changes very slowly. Along with the change is the magnetic north. I'm sure it changes with it, or at least the way the Earth tilts. Don't hold me to that. I'm not exactly sure on magnetic north, but it definitely changes where the North Pole is, which is always close to magnetic north, it seems. So, like I said, back in that time, the North Pole would have been around Anchorage, Alaska, and the equator would have looked a lot differently. The continents wouldn't be tilted. It would look kind of strange. You would kind of want to turn your head because you got used to the way it looks now. Um, but all the ancient sites were built along what was once the equator, which makes this loop around the Earth, kind of the way like you'd wear a seatbelt in the driver's seat. It looks like it's going from left to no, from right to left, north to south. It's kind of like the it's not flat along the equator. It's the old equator. Okay, well, this is all on a video, by the way, that I have attached below. If you look down there below this video, you'll see it linked up to observe more of this information. I didn't get it all from one source, obviously, but this is a 6,000-year-old myth, and there's even more that goes along with it. Okay, I found a very interesting article on the website www.666blacksun.org, and it's an article from uh, from an old well, it's out of a book actually. Um, let's see, a book, yeah, it's a book called I don't. Oh, it's called The White Man's Bible. I'm not looking at this reference. This is from memory, so excuse my little pause there. It's from The White Man's Bible by Ben Claslin, and it's posted as an article on the Black Sun, and it's titled "Confessions of a Jew." And this guy's name is Marcus Eli Ravij. Here's just a small quote from the article. It says, 1900 years ago, you were an innocent, carefree, pagan race. You worshipped countless gods and goddesses, the spirits of the air, and the running streams of the woodland. You took unblushing pride in the glory of your naked bodies. You carved images of your gods and of the tantalizing human figure. You delighted in the combats of the field, the arena, and the battleground. War and slavery were fixed institutions in your systems, disporting, uh, let's see, disporting yourselves on the hillsides and the valleys of the great outdoors. You took a speculating, let's see, no, you took to speculating on the wonder and mystery of life and laid the foundations of natural science and philosophy. Yours was a noble, sensible culture, unirked by the pricklings of a social conscience, and see, or by any sentimental questionings about human equality. Who knows what great and glorious destiny might have been yours if you had been left alone? But we did not leave you alone. He's talking about the Jews there. We did not leave you alone. Okay, that was the end of the quote that I was giving you. Right, so he's talking about the Jewish people. There's a longer article, much longer than this. I just wanted to highlight this part of it. Um, so, I mean, you have to admit and kind of think about this. Okay, so according to this this guy that came out with the information that his race, the Jewish race, had only just arrived on the planet some 2,000 years ago. That's what he's saying basically. Um, and I did some research on this. This article actually came from a um, a a magazine published back in 1928. Um, it was known as Century Magazine. I I had to look it up. You know, I wanted to double check my facts, see what was going on, and it was definitely it was published, and that's where Ben Claslin got it and used it in his book. Um, so, but so here's a problem with that, okay? Because I mean, okay, all the Gentiles were all pagan, and we had been here for a very long time. Okay, like I said, the pyramids go back. You're looking at like 40,000 years when they started to be constructed, at least 38 for it all to be laid out properly. And I mean, so you know, we had to have been around. Why go through all this undertaking and just spontaneously? No, I mean, we had been around for much longer than that. Okay, and all you know, I mean, because we're all Gentiles. Okay, you know, Father Satan created us. Okay, all right, you have to just read the Joy of Satan website, joyofsatan.org, to gain a lot more information about Father Satan, who our gods are, and there's just a wealth of knowledge on there. One just only needs to take the time to read. Can't be lazy about it. You got to read. Come on, you got, and also you got to research this information. I mean, you know, otherwise, how do you know that what I'm saying is true? I mean, I don't have any doubts because I've looked it up, but you need to do the same. You can't take my word for it. That's not how a spiritual Satanist lives his life, and that's not how any Gentile should either. You should use your brain, use the brain Satan gave you. Okay. All right. So here's a problem though with you know them with the Jews only according to what he said. This is not you know this is what Marcus Ely Revige said that you know that they you know his people showed up on this planet um, or just out of nowhere it seems just 2,000 years ago. We were here long before. So they worship a Jewish God. It was only until the it was in the Old Testament it was you know this is their God. This is the Jewish God only after the Jews had rejected okay their Nazarene okay their you know Jesus Christ after he had already been rejected by the Jews. Oh okay all right I guess we'll all right we're gonna go ahead and let all the Gentiles in now because you're only second best since the Jews turned you know turned him down. Oh, okay well all right anybody you know anyone else then you know second best you know line up get ready for the slaughter you know. It's just it's you know okay so but so no Jews until 2,000 years ago means there was no Jewish God before then. Because if only Gentiles were here on the planet, then it would have to have been a god of the Gentiles, which is not the case. All right, just you got to use your head. I mean, come on, I mean, you look at the facts and go, wow, that's wow, I never thought about that before. I mean, you got to realize that the whole world's been lied to, um, and it's time to wake up. I mean, it's time to be an adult. Stop being scared. Stop living in fear. Listen to what I've told you. Okay, read exposingchristianity.com. That's where you find out so much. Everything you need to know about Christianity is in there. Don't read the Bible because it is a book of Jewish witchcraft. When you read that, if you read the whole Bible straight through, you are putting yourself under a Jewish spell, and then you're just open to be cursed. Um, wow, there's not enough time on this video, but I think I've pretty much covered this topic. I'll get into Jewish magic, Jewish systems of magic later. How they blasphemed our gods. So, okay. Well, thanks a lot.